rotating it like a circumference. But also, this looks really confusing because it's on a flat map, and luckily, this post considered we do live on a globe. So in the red, you are exactly one Chile away from Chile. In the orange, you're two Chiles away from Chile. In this weird yellow, you're three, and in the green, you're four. Only this Bermuda Triangle in China, or should we say Chilean Triangle, is about five Chiles away from Chile. Didn't think I was going to wake up this morning and learn this information, but here we are. How often countries vote with the USA at the UN? So blue nations, I guess, are our friends during the United Nations meetings. Canada, UK, Australia are the big ones. Most of Europe as a whole. And then everywhere else, yeah, it's very unlikely they do. In the dark red, those countries vote for us less than 20% of the time. So India and a lot of, well, at least. The light red is not that bad. It's about 50. Well, it can be closer to 50. But I am surprised to see this much red. It's also to see the continental outliers like Chile, Peru, Madagascar even. The Anglo-Saxon migration and settlement of England. So between 400 and 500 CE, that is when a lot of this movement took place. And I'll be honest, I actually don't know much about this at all. I know about the Picts during this time and like the Romano Britons and stuff. But basically, if they were living along the coast of the North Sea, then yeah, they were going to experience a little bit of traveling. 500 years later, these people from Denmark would do the same thing, except they would be doing a lot of raiding. This is the original 1947 telephone area code map. Codes were assigned based on population and time it took to dial the code on a rotary phone. High population areas like New York, Chicago, and LA got numbers that you didn't have to rotate that much. So like numbers between 123, 312 for Chicago, 212 for New York. And I think we still have 213 in LA. So I guess that's cool they kept that, even if no one knows what these phones even are anymore. 1 week of maritime travel through the migration and just like movement in this part of the world's been happening for a while now. We saw like 1500 years ago they was doing it, and we're still doing it now. The English Channel just has so many uses. Wow, look at all of this though specifically. Like if you're going through the English Channel, it's like just a straight shot. Partly probably because trying to make it out to the Atlantic. Once you get up here, you can go into Denmark, Belgium, the Netherlands. I'm sure some of these places are going to like Scotland and Norway. Non-mortgage United States household debt, because mortgage would probably be number one easily. So we're starting off in like 2010. Student loan debt is like by far number one. We have auto loans pretty close. So we have credit card. What's HE revolving? What is that? HE revolving. Should I take this moment just to like bash on cars for a second? You know what? Like, okay, student loans, that sucks. It shouldn't be that expensive. But at least you're investing in yourself. And I get that, you know, you gotta have a car, you gotta have some sort of mode.
Voici le nouveau gourmet à l'amande. Goûtez-y pendant qu'il est là. L'eau pétillante Bobli. La vie devient plus magique lorsque vous rêvez. Alors rêvez d'une croisière Disney remplie de magie et de merveilles. Car ici, les rêves deviennent réalité.
Of transportation, but this is ridiculous, especially when it just depreciates in value. It's not like a home where like more than likely you buy a home, if everything works out, you'll be able to sell that home for more one day. Every year a car gets older, you're not going to be able to get your money back for it. I just don't understand cars. Like I don't. If I didn't need a car, I probably wouldn't even have a car. Top 50 countries by alcohol consumption. Number 1, Estonia. Now this breaks it down into categories. They're including beer, wine, spirits, and other. I've seen posts that show Seychelles at number 1, but that's just because they consume a lot of beer. Not a lot just as a whole in general. They're still in 4th place. Czech Republic are 2, but again, yeah, they're like beer fans. What is going on in the Baltic region? Estonia and Lithuania? Man, what the hell are they drinking in Nigeria? What is other? Do I want to know? The United States is in the top 50, but we are at the lower bottom of the list. So why are the African countries drinking a lot of other? And South Korea. Apparently it's palm wines, which is created out of sap and various species of palm tree. It looks like milk, but I'm down to try it. I hope it gets you buzzed. From downers to uppers, know your coffee. So espresso is just like a shot of like raw coffee. I kind of knew that. A cappuccino is going to have that espresso in it, but also milk and milk foam. I'm not a big fan of these. these, but yeah, I'm not super manly about it. Actually, I like black coffee, but just give it to me just raw. Like no milk is required. If I'm gonna be a man, then let me be a man. A latte really just has a bit more milk. Americano only has water. That seems healthier. Mocha just throws a layer of chocolate in that milk and milk foam. A macchiato is just I'm starting to understand like I don't like some drinks now. Sounds terrible. Frappuccino is just like a lot of milk foam. Oh, this has ice cream in it. Okay, looking at this, I'm just gonna only order mochas from now on. How much the largest U.S.-based employers make per employee? We've got the top 50 companies here. Young China leads us off, about 500,000 employees, and they made like 8 trillion. So that's 20,000 per employee. Now, obviously, these employees are not getting this money. I don't think this is just how much they're making per employee. For some reason, I thought the Hilton hotels would have more than like 200,000. Same for Starbucks. I thought they'd have more too. They're over 250,000. I guess that is a lot. That's more than McDonald's, who's only at 200,000. I imagine FedEx does need a lot of employees, almost 500,000. They're a little bit more than UPS. I never really even considered how many employees these companies had. Walmart has 2 million, but they're only 29th on this list. They make like $250,000 per employee they get. Depot and Lowe's. Disneyland at like $250,000. Amazon at $1 million. They have AT&T, Costco, United Health Group, Ford, GM, CVS. Number one, of course, is Apple. Only about 100,000 employees, but they are the richest company on earth. So every employee is like $2 million worth. And that's not what they're trying to say. That's how much they increase their revenue or something. I wish there was more information than just this. It tells me Argentina. Very random, but I rarely look at the state level of big old countries. We look at the U.S. states all the time, but Argentina is definitely not a country I've thought about. Like looking at this, what do they even call this stuff? They call them provinces. I know everyone has like their own wording, and I'm guessing we can assume that these provinces are probably broken down by population. Is this where most of the Argentinian people live? Imagine they probably wouldn't live near the bottom. That'd be pretty cold. I love that they have this piece of Antarctica though included. Speaking of really cold. They have about 45 million people living in it, and they're growing consistently every decade. Most of their people live in Buenos Aires, though, it looks like. I just learned that the Spanish here in Argentina is very, like, somewhat close to Italian, because a lot of Italian immigration that happened last century. How many people were actually born in the state that they live in? It varies drastically throughout the U.S. The highest is Louisiana. There's a 78% chance that the people living here were actually born in this state. Then Michigan and Ohio. So these people are dedicated. These states in the dark blue, they were born there. They are likely not going to leave, or maybe not necessarily that. Also, maybe a lot of people aren't moving there too. On the other end of things, we have Nevada, which is the lowest in the country. Only about a quarter of people living there were actually born there. And that is because everyone is moving to Vegas, probably from California. Florida is actually number 2, though. I've always heard there's like a lot of retired people that move on down here. And then, unsurprisingly, DC is 3rd because, yeah, no one lives in DC because they just get jobs there or something from out of state. Well, yeah. California at about 50%. It's going to be interesting to see how much this stuff changes in the next coming decades. I wonder how similar this map matches up with, like, state pride. I'm sure a lot of these people love their state. And big thanks to I Stole Drew's Pet Dog. I love Marks. Drew's Arab Sugar Daddy. King Corey. Drew's Argentinian Grandma. Canadian Union. Dalton D. Bring back Poland. Aryan After Hours. Fat Norway. Alfonso N. Ivan Lima. Majestic Bombulous Michaels. Mind Brothers 999. Can Ride the Pie.
Alors, la banlieue, ça vous plaît? Ah, pour vrai, c'est vraiment parfait.
Merci de nous avoir recommandé Léon. Je sais pas comment on aurait fait pour remplir toutes les pièces.
D'autres pièces avec des meubles Léon?
Ma petite cerise, ressens-tu l'appel des grands espaces?
Yeah? Why? What is it? I heard someone say Asio.